Hello, and you join me again in my shed. My name's Rob and this is Weekend Shedhead. Now that winter's almost done with and summer's around the corner, I've got something to show you that I think is a competitor to the barbecue. Last year I bought a catering grill, the 240 volt, that is durable, it's versatile and it's easy to clean and surprisingly cheap if you find the right one. Some of you may have seen it already. It's in my bar kitchen shed, but you could also use it in the back garden, on the patio, even in the house. You can also use it in your workshop, for example, or pub sheds. I think it's got a lot of good options going for it. So let me show you. So with the windows open and the top part of the door open, it's like a serving hatch. These windows come off as well, and that door comes off, so it's like a burger van. So I can serve food, people are around, family and friends, through the window, through the hatch, drinks as well, of course. And the extractor works. When I turn that on, then all the smells and everything go out the vent above. Turn that off. Right button. So it's made by Ace, and the model is a 60S griddle or hot plate or whatever you want to call it. It's classed, I think, as a griddle. The actual hot plate itself is 597mm by 398mm, and the thickness of the plate is 6mm. 21 kilos, and it sits on rubber feet. 240 volt. Now it's two plugs to operate it, left hand and right hand, and it's 2,500 watts per side. Now I only run one side at a time, so if I've got a lot of food on there, I'll flip it from one side to the other, because the electric running in here, I've not got it enough to cope with the 5,000 watts. So that's something I intend on doing at some point, but for now I just use them independently of each other. Now I bought this second hand. It was £80, which I don't think is too bad actually. I bought it off Gumtree. But when I got it, it was caked in food and it was a mess. It took me ages to clean it right down, which is a shame really, because if you clean them every time, which I'll show you later in the video, it's a dream to clean. It takes probably 5 minutes at the most, and it comes up well every time. There's a bit of a technique I use. Some may use differently, but for me, it works really well. Now, the reason I got it was because when you have family and friends around, you normally have, say, barbecues. Obviously that's the main reason, but you can have sporting events on, and you can use this pretty much at a drop of a hat. I've left it sat on this work surface. Eventually I want to put a slide out drawer to go underneath the cabinets below, so when I want to bring it out I can do, and the rest of the time it's just a drinks bar, if you like. I do use a small camping grill as well, you know, if you're doing onions, that sort of thing, so it can sit on the side if you're doing burgers or whatnot. So I wanted something that was fairly versatile, easy to clean, and also I can cook in rainy weather as well. So instead of doing it in the house, I can come up here and make burgers. The dog's coming out. You're probably the same as me as well. When you go to a burger van or whatever, you always see these in the background making burgers, or bacon, sausage, steaks, whatever, eggs. There's so many recipes you can cook on one of these. And I often thought, well, it'd be good to have one of those. I think price-wise, I was always thinking they're going to be a bit dear. This particular model is new. I think it's around £350. There is smaller versions as well. But if you hunt around for a second-hand one, these are designed for catering industry, so they're going to last a long time, in my opinion anyway. For the amount of times I'm going to use this, probably say 20 times a year, something like that at the most. I think the amount of use it's going to last for years. Is it an alternative to the barbecue? You're never going to get that smoky taste of a barbecue though. That's the only downside. But sometimes it's good if people come around on the hop or whatever, you can make something, grab it out of the fridge, stick it on, and away you go, or out the freezer, and I say easy to clean up afterwards. Then of course you have barbecues and someone turns up late and the food's all gone or it's gone cold. Well, at least you just grab it out and you can cook it in minutes. I mean, once this is up to heat, burgers probably, I don't know, 5 minutes, something like that. It cooks it really well. And you can get a lot of food on here as well, even the smaller sides. We've had barbecues where I've just used half of it and it's worked just as well. And of course, it really is portable. If you want it out in the garden, just put it on a table or on trestles, or I suppose you can even have it on the ground. Obviously you don't want kids coming along and putting the hand on top because it does get very hot, but the options are pretty much endless. If you're doing it inside, obviously you're really going to need an extractor. So if you have it in the house, I don't know, could you sit it on top of your existing cooker, for example, and then you've got an extractor above? I don't know. I know there is other versions, more like the retail market or home use, but I think they're a lot smaller, comparable with a second-hand one of these as well in price, I think. And like I say, I think these are going to last for years. Like I say as well, total of 5,000 watts altogether. Is that 5 kilowatts? I'm not an electrician, but I think I would need, if I wanted to run both these at the same time, both 13 amp plugs, I'd need a new power supply putting up here. But for me now, I'll just use them independently of each other. So I can turn one off, one on, or whatever, and switch them. I've got a plug socket at the back, so I can switch them off independently of each other. So there's two dials on the front, and the green is to indicate there's power getting to it, so it's plugged in. And then when it kicks in, whatever temperature you want to set it at, 0 up to 300, you can turn it to whatever setting you want at, and then when it gets to that temperature, amber light cuts off and you know it's up to the right temperature. And I say that's on both sides. Drip tray in the middle. Now the funnel for the excess fat and food is right in the center, which I think it's not the ideal place. After using this quite a few times, I would have preferred that off to one side, because when you're scraping, you get to the one side and then it goes over to the other side, and then vice versa. If you could buff up against the sides of it, the guards, then it would go down the hole a lot easier, I think. But yeah, I'm not going to complain about that. It does the job, and it's not that much more time to send it down the chute. So it's made out of stainless steel, and I actually bought the utensils for it. It is a Romanticist. Yeah, Romanticist. Bought them off Amazon. What I do is I hang them above on a little rail I've got underneath the extractor, plus a few extra plastic utensils. But on there you get a scraper, you get a few spatulas, and they're actually good for cutting as well. So if you've got a sausage, you want to cut it down the middle, you can just slice it with one of these spatulas, I think that's the word for it. I'm not a cook, I'm not a chef, yeah, I think you get what I'm trying to say. And you get some tongs as well with this kit. You also get a little egg surround, what are they called? Crack an egg in it so it's formed perfectly, like well, you get a heart-shaped one and a round one with it anyway. And you also get 2 bottles, one's for water and one's for oil, which sits in there. So yeah, I'll keep them above, and they're set up there quite nicely out of the way. But I say you do get the carry case with it. Can't remember which they were now, but they're on Amazon. And if I want to put cheese on top of a burger, I'll use a pan lid, which is the one I use all the time. So as it's cooking, just pop it on top, and yeah, it cooks the burger, cooks the cheese a lot quicker. There's so many recipes for one of these things. It's literally the sky's the limit. So to remind myself, I've wrote down a list of the things I've already cooked on here. So pork chops with a bit of sage, that's lovely. Salmon in foil, that cooked really well. Steak, obviously. Chicken, and I've done chicken satay as well on here. Stir fry, halloumi cheese, rice, full breakfast, obviously burgers, sausages, pancakes, mushrooms, French toast, fried scrambled egg, grilled tomatoes, loads of different grilled vegetables, skewers. You can have anything on a skewer, of course. Lots of videos out there as well, the different recipes people are cooking on these. I say I'm not an expert on cooking. If you go out there and have a look, there's endless recipes, and I'm sure there's books on these as well. So yeah, great all-rounder. I love it. Again, don't know if it's a competitor to the barbecue. You can never beat that taste of a good barbecue, but I think as another alternative, I think this is the thing. So the other day we had people around and we did burgers, sausages and skewers. Yeah, I've got some footage of that, so I'll show you that now. I'll also show you me cleaning it afterwards. Yeah, I'll see you in a minute. So while the hot plate's still hot, we use the scraper to scrape all the congealed food and oil and all sorts down the funnel. So yeah, it's hot now. So the ideal time to do it is once you've finished cooking your food. But of course, if you leave it till later, just heat it back up again, just so the plate's hot again, and then you can start scraping. So that was it. Thanks for watching. What did you think to it? Was that something you might want to buy? Can you think of a better way of cleaning it? Any recipes you can think of that I could try out on here as well? Stick your comments below. If you give it a thumbs up, that would be great. And check out my other videos, by the way. Take care. Cheers.